live once again for the second episode of the year of Counterpunch Boxing News Podcast. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I don't really understand this thing. Okay. I'm just learning this new device. It gets to the point where, hold on a second. Boom. All right, cool. Here we go. Okay, so we are live once again, people. And I just actually wrapped up a video of one of these other guys that are in question. Okay, these are the other guys which we have to talk about. Agit Kabayel, we have Martin Bakali, we have Joseph Parker that will be fighting soon, and who's the other guy? Of course, Daniel Dubois is the champion. So I get Kabayel, Martin Bakali, Joseph Parker, okay, and who's the other guy? Who's there? Who's there in this in these days? In these days, peeps, who is there in these days? There we go. Yeah, and that's it. Then that's right. Big Zhilei Zhang holding on for dear life. You know, let's talk about Zhilei Zhang for a minute. Zhilei Zhang is what, 41 years of age, right? He's 41 years of age. Okay. Okay, born May 2nd, 1983, 41 years of age, Henan, China. Height and weight 6'6", 256 pounds, which now we know that that is not the case. Okay, Zhilei Zhang is more like 280, 290 pounds. So he's pushing 300. So this man has been eating really well. Spare ribs, tomahawk steaks, grits, noodles, fish, rice. He's been doing it all because I mean he's been getting in his protein and definitely carbs. He has been getting it in, and he's not playing any games, any reindeer games. Shout out to Virgin in the building. I think Zhilei Zhang though is a guy that we overlooked him for so long. Okay, we overlooked Zhilei Zhang. How long did we overlook him for? Honestly. I mean, before 2023, how long did we overlook him? We overlooked Zhilei Zhang for, what, about 3 or 4 years? I mean, honestly. Because when he fought Philip Hergovic, that was like in 22, okay? Before that, it was Scott Alexander, then Craig Forrest, okay? So in 2021, he fought Jerry Forrest. Jerry Forrest, he had a majority decision draw, which a lot of people should thought that Jerry Forrest did enough to win against Zhilei Zhang, and I think that's when his stock dropped. Now he didn't have to lose a fight in order for his stock to drop. So I want people to understand that just because you don't lose officially, okay, doesn't mean that your stock doesn't have the ability to drop, and that's exactly what happened to Zhilei Zhang. Okay, so after the Jerry Forrest fight, even 2020 during the midst of the COVID season, we had Devin Vargas. Okay, then Andre Rudinko. Okay, then Donald Hayensworth. What's up, God of War? Counterpunch to you, the man with the wrench that was MIA. Where you been, man? Where have you been? Counterpunch to you, brother. So before that, though, there wasn't a lot of fights. He had two fights in 2018. In 2017, he had five in 2017. So five fights compared to two fights in 2018. One in July and then another one in September. Okay. Then he comes back for a year layoff, then takes on November 30th. He takes on Andre Rudinko. Okay. So over a year, he had over a year layoff. God of War, expecting my first child, got things going. Hey, congratulations, God of War, man. You got your child, man. That's cool, man. Congratulations on your newborn, man. Is that your firstborn? Yeah, that's your firstborn, your first child. Man, that's great. That is great news. Memories. Yeah, man, I was nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs when that happened. Yeah, so yeah, we can definitely talk about that. And I hope you did a lot better than I did. Because I was a wreck, man. But no, it was a beautiful experience nonetheless. And congratulations. It will come in 3 weeks. Wow. So that's yeah, that's this week. This month. So you got a January baby. You know, it's crazy. So when's the expected day? Like the 23rd, 24th? Let's see. Curtis Harper. He beats Curtis Harper in 17. So Curtis Harper was one of those guys. Then he fights Jerry Forrest. Quan Big Guns. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Yeah, we're all pouring in. Let's hit that like button. Let's change the algorithm right now. Atreus. Igor, counterpunch to you. Yeah, I know, right? God of War. Yeah, that's the name. Atreus. Yeah, man, that's the junk right there. I still haven't finished it, so I'm gonna work on finishing that. I think Macaulay will become champion from the other guy list. I mean, I think he is. I think he's young enough to withstand the time of politics. You know, end of January, start of February. Got you. So 28th, 29th, then the 30th. Do we have only 30 days in this month? Because I know February is always the shortest, right? I was not allowed to call him Atreus. According to who? I mean, that's a cool name, though, dude. Um, let's see here. But yeah, man, inactivity, and then he fought Hergovic. And then Hergovic, he lost unanimous decision, which I thought that was kind of weird, especially being a unanimous decision. But it is what it is. And then came Joe Joyce. So from what was that? August 20th of 2022, and then he fights Joe Joyce in April 15th of 2023. Then he fights him again on my daughter's birthday on the 23rd of September of 2023. So that's when he made his comeback. Then he fought Joseph Parker. Then he fought Deontay Wilder. Now he's going to take on Agit Kabayel. Okay, so, but understand, before 2023, Zhilei Zhang was a guy that pretty much no one seen the potential in him because they thought he was on his way out the door based on the age that he has. He's 41 years of age. He'll be 42 on the 2nd of May. And, I think it is now or never. I think they need to give this man his opportunity before he gets old overnight or in the ring, you know? And I think that's what happens. Now, when we talk about Agit Kabayel, Agit Kabayel is different because, again, we talked a little bit about those Eastern European fighters. Did you hear Anderson wants a Bakali rematch? I think Anderson is a dog, but he needs a couple tune-ups for Bakali. Quan Big Guns. Let's talk about that in a second, okay? Let's put a pin in that real quick. Let's talk about Agit Kabayel. Agit Kabayel, Ashlanbek Markmadov. But before that, he fought Igran Smakisi, okay? Igran Smakisi. There we go. Agron Smakisi, March 4th, 2023. Okay, so before that, he had like a what 10-month layoff. He fought a guy named Pavel Sauer. Now, keep in mind, all of these guys, Kevin Johnson, Evgenius Lazarius, Andre Rodinko, okay, Mijan, Rafkanin, Derek Chisora, okay, except for Derek Chisora, okay, because he beat Derek Chisora in 17. So from 17, 18, 19, 2020, 21, all of these, you had three unanimous decisions, but he had a TKO. Then all of these guys, Arslanbek TKO, Argron Smakisi TKO, and Pavel Sauer TKO. Okay, and of course Frank Sanchez KO. Okay, so because he stopped Frank Sanchez. All right, so all of these guys, though, if you look at Agit Kabayel's record, Agit Kabayel is a dude that he is a sleeper. He's a sleeper because nobody really knew who he was. The first time I heard of Agit Kabayel was when Tyson Fury was going to fight him. You remember Tyson Fury had a fight when he got out of the expired contract of Deontay Wilder in the rematch, or should I say the trilogy, because Wilder wanted the rematch. Well, he wanted a rematch against him after his first loss. Okay, he wanted that trilogy fight, and everybody and their mom said it was done. Jay, CP to you, Kurt, how we doing? We're doing good, man. We're doing good. We are doing well. We are doing well. I think Kabayel will finish Zhang. Kabayel is too fresh for Zhang. Okay, now let's talk about Anderson for a second. Anderson wanting a rematch against Bakali. I do agree with you. I think he needs a rematch, but I do think he needs to wait because there's no rush to go back in there and get chopped up like he did. Man, that dude got chopped up like some collard greens and some cornbread, bro. I mean, chopped up. I mean, he got shredded. Who should Wilder face next? Wilder should face someone like Adam Kalnaki. Give Adam Kalnaki an opportunity to make some money. Let Wilder knock him out cold. Or Charles Martin. Charles Martin is a safe bet. If they wanted to go a little tougher than that, they should throw him in there with Jermaine Franklin. Because Jermaine Franklin has somewhat of the same profile as Andy Ruiz. Now, here's the saving grace, I think, for Wilder. I'm so glad that they didn't put him in there with Andy Ruiz, because if Andy would have beat Wilder, that means Wilder would have been done, because Andy, where he's at due to inactivity and due to his overall lack of, he would be finished. Because Wilder's expectations were so high from him. We thought, because we bought into the Tyson Fury narrative, we thought Wilder could knock out anybody except Tyson Fury. That's what we thought. We thought that Tyson Fury was the only person that could beat Wilder. Okay, so Tyson Fury, congratulations to Tyson, because Tyson Fury had us thinking and believing that same song. He had us thinking that, hey, I'm the only man that can take on the one hand cannon like Wilder. I'm the only guy that can go up against the cannon. I'm the only guy. And he had people thinking he was the only guy. Since we never seen a Wilder Joshua, since we never seen a Wilder Usyk, since we never seen a Wilder Wileen, since we never seen a Wilder anybody that Tyson Fury's fought, we were fooled. We were tricked. We were convinced by Tyson Fury that Wilder, sure, he's one of the hardest hitting fighters in the history of the sport, but we had us thinking that the only person that can withstand the punch is Tyson Fury. Okay, so Tyson, marketed himself well in that regard, but we all know that's BS. That's not the truth. You heard of him when he beat Chisora? No, I didn't, because Chisora at the time was not really obsolete. To be honest with you, I stopped really viewing Chisora as far as fighting potential when he lost to Joseph Parker the second time. You know what I mean? When he actually lost to to Parker, because I think he beat Parker the first time, but I knew he was too old to really take seriously. So that gatekeeping fight like that, I mean, I didn't watch it. So I didn't really care, to be fair. I didn't care what Derek Chisora was doing and who he was losing to because he got beat umpteen times. How many times did Derek Chisora been beaten? 13, 14? He has a record like Mickey Ward. Even though Mickey Ward is an exciting fighter, one of the most exciting fighters in the sport of boxing at one point, he still had a record that was very, very challenging. Okay? He had a lot of losses. Do we really want to see Wilder after two last fights? I think it depends. God of War. I think if he loses again, this isn't baseball. I think it's how he loses. He lost a decision to Parker, and he got stopped by Zhilei Zhang, okay, in a TKO. I think it's how he loses. See, the question you ask yourself, what was the one fight that we'd like to see Wilder in that he actually lost? The trilogy. We saw the trilogy fight, and we seen that Wilder not only had heart, he was also still dangerous up until the end of the fight. So that being said, I think it's how he loses, how that defeat comes. If it's him dropping somebody and we could see the evidence of power being still there, why wouldn't we want to see someone that can possibly still take your head off to this day? Okay, just like we seen in round 4 of the trilogy when he dropped Tyson Fury 2 times. Okay, so I think that's what we really need to focus on and realize about Deontay Wilder. Okay, so if you look at Wilder and you say, oh man, he lost again, well, you have to look at the particulars of the loss. If you can't see the particulars of the loss, I don't know. Maybe you just don't like Wilder, which is fine. But in the grand scheme of things, just looking at a record by itself is not enough for me. It's not enough for me. It's almost like, okay, well, he lost, so what? He's a loser. What did he do in the fight? Did he make a valiant effort? What did he accomplish in the fight? Did he get any knockdowns? How many points did he score? How many rounds did he win? Those are the things you ask yourself in a fight. Because if it goes to a decision, right, and you see it 7-5, you know what I'm saying? Or you see it 8 rounds to 4, or 9 rounds to 3, you know, or you have it damn near even. Okay, that's debatable, right? So there you go. Wilder got outboxed, then knocked out, dude. Yes, Wilder got outboxed by Joseph Parker, then got knocked out by Zhilei Zhang. 2 different people. So that's the point of 2 different fights. So there you go. None of these bums will fight Macaulay till they do. No damn respect to any of them. Too much mafia BS in boxing these days. Well, Macaulay, I think scared a lot of people. And I think what's going to happen, someone has to be brave enough. Because who is he fighting? Who is Martin Macaulay fighting right now? Kurt, who will win? Deontay Wilder versus Martin Macaulay now. I'd pick Martin Macaulay now. Because here's the thing, though. This is the sad thing. If Wilder goes in there and lands a right hand against Martin Macaulay and knocks out Martin Macaulay, what does that say about Martin Macaulay? What does that say about Martin Macaulay? Tell me, what would you think of Martin Macaulay if he fought Deontay Wilder now and got caught with a right hand? What would that really mean? I think everybody's avoiding Martin. Can you guys tell me what would that mean? Do we have to do a poll? I mean, we can do a poll. But what would everybody think if Wilder, that sounds retarded right now. That sounds crazy right now, right? Doesn't it sound crazy? What happens when, or if, let's say that, not when, but what happens if Wilder catches Macaulay with a right hand and knocks Macaulay out? What would that mean? How would you view Martin Macaulay? Why does a lot of folks think Macaulay is this boogeyman when he's been beat? He has ever even beat a top 10 fighter. I mean, nobody's saying anything. Nobody's saying anything. What would you guys think? Again, what would you guys think if Wilder caught Bacall and knocked him out? What would we think? Rod Brown, bring it on. Jay, Bomb Squad, people would probably say Bacall was overhyped if Wilder KO'd him. Okay, Jay, that's fair. He didn't catch Zhang or Parker. No, he did not. He did not. And then, it does make you wonder. Wilder wouldn't land a right on Bacall because Battle is too aggressive for Wilder to set it up. I'm just saying, what happens if he would have? Bacall throws 100 punches around. Okay. But I'll tell you this. This is what would have happened. If Wilder catches Bacall and knocks out Bacall, people will turn their back on Bacall. People will say Bacall's trash. People will call Bacall a hype job. People will call Bacall, see, he wasn't ready. It just shows how tasteless he was. He could never beat those other guys now because of what Wilder did. That's what we do. That's what we do as fans. We think of, oh man, you see what Wilder did to him? And we always rate someone that has something lower on the totem pole. And then we all rate that based on what that person did. You understand this is a combat sport, right? If he does, then he landed a lucky shot and he's still someone who is awful from a technical standpoint. Ask Skip. Now you are talking my language, but see, here's the thing. People won't see it that way. People won't see it that way. They would look at it like Mark Bacall got caught with a shot. And you know what? Here's the funny thing. He got caught with a shot that he should have avoided. Here's the thing. If that's the case, I look at Martin Bacall like a bigger, younger, maybe stronger Luis Ortiz. He's just not a southpaw. If you think of the way Martin Bacall fights and then you look at Luis Ortiz is a southpaw, but then here's the thing. Martin Bacall, I think he's bigger, he's taller, but I think they fight similar. I just think Martin Bacall is younger. And if you look how old Luis Ortiz is. This man is at least 52. Let's just keep it a buck. Luis Ortiz is 52 years old, bro. He's old. He is not 45. And on paper, this man's supposed to be 45. Turning 46 in, I think, March or April. But he is not 45. He's not. Bacall lost at cruiserweight against Michael Hunter at cruiserweight. I thought that was heavyweight. He trained with all of them, but I think he would outbox Wilder. You never know. You cannot tell Kurt he might get up from what 99% never did. But hating on Bacall. Don't listen to these Fury fanboys, Kurt. No one cares about them. Fury fanboys. I don't think it's Fury fanboys. I just think it's something you got with Fury. But I do agree with you, Quan Big Guns. I think that it's more of a promoting a particular person, but at the same time trying to avoid another person. That has nothing to do with Tyson Fury at all. It has nothing to do with Tyson Fury. See, in fact, you're saying the Fury fanboys, right? Who is Johnny Fisher promoted by? I'm not a Fury fan. Exactly. I think that's Quan Big Guns. See, here's the thing. Let's stop calling an enemy when that enemy is not an enemy. You have a problem with fanboys of Tyson because you don't like Tyson Fury. What does that have to do with Johnny Fisher? That has nothing to do with Johnny Fisher. Shit, man, that was 7 years ago. Martin had dislocated his shoulder and was on his feet, TKO. Now, I mean, but it does show you who would be an issue or a problem for him. Who would be a problem for Martin McCauley? Who would really be a problem for Martin McCauley? Was the era of the Three Kings real or overhyped? It was real. I just think those guys would have had more challenges. Okay, Jay, they would have had more challenges if they would have actually fought the people that were there. See, the thing is, what people did was AJ made all the money. Tyson Fury was still in exile because he was trying to get his life together after his substance abuse and and all the issues that he was having. Deontay Wilder was knocking out guys, building his profile like his team wanted him to. That's what was going on. He wasn't making the money that AJ was making over here, but he was doing what he was doing over in the States. He was knocking out guys. He was showing you his power. He was showing you how strong he is, which he was very strong. You see a guy like Deontay Wilder, the dude had long, broad shoulders, and then he was catching dudes and knocking them spark out like the Spilka fight. And, even the Spilka fight, he showed that he can't box. Spilka was bat, 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 bat. He was going in and going out, going in and going out. And then at one point, Wilder was like, okay, you waiting until I catch you. And when he caught Spilka, he almost decapitated this man, and they had to send this boy out on a stretcher. So the power was real. And Spilka ain't never been the same since. Ask Derek Chisora. Because remember the Derek Chisora fight. Derek Chisora caught this boy with a right hand, and he was Derek's friend. Spilka and Derek are cool. Okay, they're cool. But when he caught Spilka, Spilka had no punch resistance. That man was done. Okay, so that may or may not be true that Wilder, is a guy that could permanently damage you for future fights. Tyson Fury, they say his chin's not the same, right? They say Luis Ortiz's chin's not the same. And Spilka's chin definitely wasn't the same, right? Turkey al-Sheikh killed all three kings. Well, I think he didn't kill them. I think what he did was he gave them money, and I think we still thought that these guys were in their mid to late 30s, either mid 30s or late 30s. Wilder was older than all of them. So Wilder is what? He'll be 39, 40 this year. Everyone is scared of Bakali. He has sparred everyone. People forget plenty of people has gotten up from a Wilder right hand. He has been in plenty of fights and had to put fighters down more than once. Yeah, he did. But when you look at these bigger situations, Martin has been calling out fighters for years, and about their sparring sessions, even Usyk did not get back on the internet when he said he stopped them. No, he responded. He did respond and said that didn't happen. I did a video on it. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. That beats me. But he did respond. Okay? Because that would have been a big thing. Jared Anderson is not a lost cause. Just up to him to showcase now. Yeah? I think he needs about 3 or 4 fights. Then he should take on or seriously think about taking on Martin McCauley. But I think it should be at what reward? See, if he's going to fight Martin McCauley has to be in a position to be worth the rematch. Because if he's going to fight Martin McCauley again, Martin McCauley better have done something magnificent or worthwhile, like stop Zhilei Zhang or beat Daniel Dubois for that opportunity if AJ doesn't fight him again or whatever. So he has to do something. He has to be a champ. He has to have some type of belt. If I'm Jared Anderson, I'm going to wait to see what Martin McCauley does. And then if Martin McCauley, obviously he's a step or a couple steps now above Jared Anderson. So then he can see what what Martin can do. And in other words, hey, let's take this fight with this guy that becomes a champ. If he becomes, let's fight him. If he doesn't, let's hold back because he still may be a tough fight because maybe they still may be ducking this man. If they're still ducking this man, why would you want to be the one that you had your ass handed to you already? Why would you want to be the one that ended up getting shredded to pieces? Should you be the sacrificial lamb when all these other guys are saying, no, I ain't fighting them? you know, they were never kings. They were already on the slide. Turkey just increased the pension, the pension pot. They were kings. I think they were kings. I think they were kings in their own right. I think all of them had done enough in their careers to claim that they were kings, and they were kings based on their status. They weren't kings just because they were good fighters. They were kings because of what they'd done in their career. Wilder had the WBC, Joshua had the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO. Okay, he had those belts. He had those belts, and he fought for those belts. He fought Charles Martin, which was the lowest of the totem pole, the IBF. Then he fought Klitschko for the WBA, the vacant WBA. Then he fought Parker, the WBO champion, and he fought Andy Ruiz for the vacant WBO. Okay, so yeah, they were all kings. Tyson Fury was a guy that never lost the belts inside the ring at the time. Then Wilder with the WBC. So you had all of them. The old unified champion, Tyson. The new unified champion, Joshua. And then the WBC champion, Wilder. That's what made them three kings. So I don't want to hear this, they were never king shit. They were kings. They did what they did. They had their reign, and they had their success being the champions they are. Did Wilder put a dent in Fury's chin? Did you buy that in? No. And in Fury's chin? I thought that Fury put one in his chin, or in his jaw, or whatever. The mandible. Three Kings were red hot when the three-headed monster was in the prime. We just didn't get the prime fights. Yeah, look. You think of Joshua from 2018 versus the Dubois we had then? Because if you look back, let's go back 6 years. 6 years ago was what? Joshua was how old? How old is Joshua now? 35? Go back 6 years. He was 28, 29, right? Okay. How old is Danny Dubois? 27. So that put them in the exact same age bracket. Do you think the Joshua from 2018 would have performed like that dude we saw at Wembley Stadium? No. The dude that we saw is the result of hundreds of millions of dollars being earned, and I think of lack of whatever. You know what I mean? He's just not the same dude no more. The Joshua in 2018 is nothing like that dude from 2024. He's nothing like him. He'll never be like him again. So when we talk about that young Joshua that got his nose busted by Povetkin and fought tooth and nail against Vladimir Klitschko and knocked out Pulev and all those dudes, he's just not the same fighter. You would have just seen a different fight. Now, that would have been a fight worth watching. We probably would have had multiple knockdowns at that time. But understand, the Wilder from 2018, the one that's never seen or heard of defeat, the one that's not in denial, the one that actually had a girlfriend that, they were actually together. You know what I mean? You look at guys like that and the mentalities, it means a lot to these fighters because the reality of those fighters, when they were undefeated, they never tasted defeat. See, even Wilder, his first defeat was not, he didn't even accept his first defeat. He wasn't knocked spark out. It was stopped because of his ear was bleeding. How many people's ear has been bleeding at that point? Did he get his health saved? More than likely, yeah. He probably got saved by a brutal knockout, but still, who knows? So, yeah, I mean, those guys, I think they were a lot different now. Wilder looks like a hippie. Joshua, I don't think has it no more, really. I don't think he has it like that. Because there's all of those trainers. Robert Garcia, Derek James, Ben Davison. You know what I mean? You had all these guys. You cannot revamp someone's morale and freshness. You can't do it. It's not there. Joshua showed us he's just not there. He's just not that fighter no more. James Bash coming in with that cash. And he states, agreed, Kurt, they were kings. Watch how much the narrative changes once they retire. We're going to miss them until the next box office stars pop up. You know, James, I wonder this. I wonder at what point will we see that? You know, and that's the sad part. You know, who will replace Joshua as a superstar? Who will really replace him? It's like trying to reunite the WBA with Snoop and No Easy or Cube. Can't be done. Damn. And that analogy, you're absolutely right. Saludos, Rafael Moret. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Salute. He was very, very hungry in that Klitschko fight. Yeah, I mean, that dude, that Joshua, that dude fought nothing like the Joshua we saw. I don't know who we were looking at. We were looking at a fragment or an older version of a Joshua. That's it. The man was pushed very quick, very rapidly. I get it. You know, he shot his wad. Eddie Hearn should never in his life say anything bad about Joshua, all the money that he's made him and all the other people around him. Joshua has made millionaires off of the circle of people that surrounded Joshua. Okay, 258 management, Matchroom, DAZN, all of those people are now millionaires thanks to a 6'6" boy from Watford. Okay, so let's just keep it a buck. He's made millionaires out of so many people. So when they see AJ at those dinner parties, they should be ready to kiss his ass. You know what I mean? They should be ready to lick some boots. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because he's made millionaires out of all of those people. Fury should go take a crap in a bucket, retire, and take up block paving. Nah, I think he should fight some more. I just think he needs to know what level he's on and what is he doing it for. Is he doing it because he loves it? If he's doing it because he loves it, he should take on the next toughest fighter. Deontay Wilder, I'm not looking to fight a contender. I want a champion, a king, chase kings. Yeah, he did say that, didn't he? Well, what does he call himself now? Now, the thing is, if Wilder still calls himself a king, that means he's saying he's a king just from no reasoning. You know, that's just a label he's giving himself. I'm self-labeling myself a king. Well, that means you'll never fight anyone else because you don't look at other people as kings. So if we never see the Dillian White fight, which I still want to see now, hey, Dillian White is another fighter that he could fight. He could fight Dillian White. Wilder needs a tune-up fight before going up against someone big. Jay, here's the problem with Wilder, though. Wilder needs someone that conditions him enough to go the rounds that he needs to carry on to the next level where he needs to be. So he can't fight someone just out of the blue or just climbed out of bed. I've been back to the gym a week. Hey, you want to fight Wilder for $56,000? And I mean, a lot of people look at that, man, I could really use 56 grand. You know what I'm saying? So, because he was a statue. Wilder ducked White in 2018 for $5 million to fight Fury for $4 million. That is true. That is true. They offered him more money to fight Dillian White. The truth of the matter was, Wilder always knew where the money was, and it was always in the UK, especially at heavyweight, because that's what mattered, because that's the weight class he was in. He was a heavyweight champion. He was the WBC heavyweight champion, and he knew the money was in the UK. He knew the money was with Joshua and them. Tyson Fury was a guy that we heard was coming back to the sport. We didn't know what Tyson was really going to do. And just for the fact of knowing that you waited for Tyson Fury to come back to the sport, being all like a deflated balloon, flabby, fat, out of shape, ex drug addict, ex drunk. That just shows you that y'all picked this man because you thought this was going to be the easier fight. And it went wrong. Exactly. The cherry pick that went wrong. That's all that happened. And, Wilder, he got his warning. Wilder received a warning. And this was before the 100 million. Imagine this for Wilder's career. His career from 2017, 18, 19, then 20. Let's break it down. 2018, 17, he started calling out Joshua. He started calling him out. Then they offered him a certain amount of money. He turned it down. I think it was like 7-8 million. Then he fights Luis Ortiz, the undefeated Luis Ortiz. Then they offer him 12.5. He said, well, that's insulting to me. That's like slave wages to me. So you're offering me slave wages to fight your champion. Okay, he turned that down. After that, they counter offered with 50 million based on an interview that Joshua said, you give me 50 million, I'll fight tomorrow. Well, that wasn't a contract that they stated or they could produce any type of contract behind, which was kind of weird. And you had a 24-hour deadline for it. Then at the end of the year, they still kept sending him contracts. But by that time, he decided to fight Tyson Fury because he heard Tyson was back into the picture. Tyson comes back into the picture. Okay. Then he fights him and gets a draw. That was a warning for Wilder. But at that point, Wilder told Tyson, hey, they all actually offered me more money to fight AJ than you, but I told you that I would fight you again and I would give you my word. Then he was mad because Tyson then signed the contract with ESPN and then counter offered him a 3-fight deal or a 3 or 4 fight deal to fight on ESPN so they can build their profile up, because that's what Tyson Fury told Wilder. You need to build your profile because I just signed an $80 million deal for ESPN. With Frank Warren and then Bob Arum co-promoting. Okay. Now, then he finally fights. Well, no. 19 goes through. Joshua gets beat. Yay! He gets beat. But before he gets beat, they offered Wilder $100 million. 3 fights, 1 for the Dominique Brazil, which was his mandatory, which finally someone demanded or commanded him to fight. And he got $20 million for that. And the next 2 fights were supposed to be with AJ, 1 in the US, 1 in the UK. We know the story. The only problem was Joshua then gets beat by Andy Ruiz on a voluntary because listening to Lennox Lewis, big up England, big up, Lennox Lewis convinced Anthony Joshua and company to go to the U.S. because Lennox was like, I think Anthony Joshua needs to go to the U.S. because, everyone needs to go to the U.S. Remember, Kurt, they tried to freeze AJ out. Well, here's the thing. They were playing hardball. Wilder needed a dancing partner, and he got it. He got a dancing partner with Tyson Fury. Then they were trying to make themselves credible by saying, hey, well, the WBC is the best belt anyway, and it's the only belt that Tyson Fury didn't have or get his hands on. So he had vested interest in that belt. Okay, so since he had vested interest in that belt, all right, he wanted to fight for it. But it was a draw. And Andy Ruiz became the latest heavyweight champ. Well, his problem was he tried to get out of the contract with AJ because he didn't want to go to the UK. So they decided to fight in Saudi Arabia. That's how Saudi Arabia came about, by the way. Okay, because Andy Ruiz didn't want to go to the UK. He said he didn't trust him over there. He's the champ now. He's calling the shots. This is how it's going to be. I'm the man. I got the plan, and y'all going to do what I say. Right? So then a unification was trying to be made between Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder. But it didn't happen. Andy Ruiz ended up fighting AJ again, losing a 12-round unanimous decision. Then Andy Ruiz kind of disappeared. You know. Then 2020. Here's the funny thing. Less than 2 months. Wait, December, January, February. 3 months later, Wilder gets beat, surprisingly, by Tyson Fury. Okay. Then he gets beat. Then COVID happens. Then the whole glove gate happens. Then we haven't heard anything from Wilder for a very long time. Counterpunch Boxing News eventually gets shut down by two different channels that tried to freeze me out because they didn't like me talking about the lies that they were making them famous. Okay. Nikki Blue Eyes Austin in the building. Counterpunch to you. Good evening, Kurt, everyone. Happy New Year's to you and all. It's my birthday month. Happy birthday month to Nikki Blue Eyes Austin in the building. AJ is still scared, I reckon. I guess he's still scared. Sure. Why not? Yeah, he's scared. Fury signed a $100 million deal with Top Rank. Yeah, pretty much 80 million pounds. That's pretty. That's about. Yeah. He made his money, man, and it was a good business move for Tyson Fury. And Wilder felt betrayed because Wilder thought he had a dancing partner. He thought he had a business partner that could help him promote himself. That's all. He thought that Tyson Fury and him were friends because Wilder, guys don't understand something. Wilder was responsible for making Tyson Fury who Tyson Fury was. He brought Tyson Fury back to boxing. He didn't have to fight Tyson Fury. He didn't have to fight Tyson Fury at all. But I think the fear Wilder had, him and his team, was if Tyson comes back and he eventually starts winning and keeps winning, he will eventually get a fight with Anthony Joshua. If you really think about it. Remember Glovegate and they shut down your channel. You had a second channel. I was watching that, remember? Yeah, I remember that. That was, man. That was over 4 years ago, and I remember that. And it was a sad thing because I didn't think that someone would go to that limits to stop another channel. And here's the reality of it. The reality of it was there's a lot more to that. That's why you guys have to join the Patreon because those are the things that I can talk about, I can talk about wholeheartedly. But yeah, it was just people go to that limits to shut you down. That's the crazy thing. They went to those limits to shut me down. Wilder, Fury, and AJ were like naughty children that couldn't agree. Usyk wiped the slate clean. A new start, a new era. Stewart, yeah, you're pretty much right. I mean, Usyk did get a taste of the nastiness, a taste of the messiness, a taste of the childish things that went on. And it wasn't just Wilder. I mean, Wilder was one player in the game, but you had AJ, you had Eddie Hearn, you had Tyson Fury with his shenanigans. You had all of these fighters that really couldn't seem to get along. We talk more about what fights could happen or may happen or in talks than actually ever happened. Have we seen Tyson Fury versus AJ? No. We have not. We haven't seen AJ versus Wilder. We only seen one fight in the possibility of fights between those guys, and it's sad. That's the sad thing. All these kings never fought each other. AJ and Wilder were on the same card. That was the closest that we'll ever see to those guys fighting. They were on the same card. And one was the co-promoter and the other one was AJ is always going to be over Wilder. I'm sorry. It's just, that's how it is. It's the market. It's who's more marketable. Kurt, me and my parents are coming to America in June. We are going to New York. I hope we can meet you in person. When? Okay, in June. That can happen. What part of New York are you going? Just inbox me. This wasn't a golden era at all. No, it wasn't, but I think it was a golden era. It was more like a silver era. How? It was more like, because it was better than the Klitschko era. I mean, it was better than that. See, the Klitschko era was dark, shitty, boring. Oh, your partner. Okay, cool. AJ versus Fury will probably happen. Look at Khan versus Brooke. Yeah, it will eventually happen, but it will happen like you guys remember Larry Holmes and George Foreman? Wow, they tried to do Kurt like JFK. Glad you survived the attempt. 100%, that's what gypsies do. They never keep their deals. The LDBC could not handle the truth, but most of them now gone. Some of them are still around. Your channel has outgrown them. Well, the thing is, yeah, and there are still channels around. I mean, they're just not LDBC channels. They've kind of circumvented and decided to ditch the LDBC thing, you know? Um, and you know the crazy thing about that whole LDBC thing? We were talking about the LDBC. None of the LDBC done that. That was not the LDBC that attacked my channel. None of them. None of them were LDBC. So I mean, I don't like the LDBC channels. Yeah, they believed that Wilder was, this and Wilder was that, but they weren't the ones that were going to YouTube and saying that, hey, I have this discrepancy or this issue with this Counterpunch Boxing News channel. You know, Nikki Blue Eyes Austin, solid, solid. Joshua versus Wilder should have happened. That should have been easy to make. Joshua was the most popular combat athlete on the planet back then. This should have happened. Yeah, that fight should have happened for a lot of reasons, and it didn't. And I don't understand why it didn't. I just don't understand it. I think it was ego on both sides. I think Joshua was actually honest when they asked him, like, "Hey, whose fault is it?" And he was like, "I think it's both of our faults." That always made me wonder, like, okay, well, it can't just be Wilder. It had to be both ends. But Wilder should have took the Lennox Lewis route. Hey, I'll take whatever. Get me in the ring with you. Let me knock you out. So if they offered this man 15 million or even 12 million was way more or twice as much as what they offered Andy. And Andy took it. Please, I want the opportunity. They offered this man $6-7 million, and then they offered him 13. So he ended up with 13 million fighting Joshua in the rematch when he was the champion. Well, if Wilder would have bomb squad knocked out AJ, and then they would have had another fight, then he would have asked for more money. He would have got more money. Wilder would have probably received 25 to 30 million dollars for fighting that guy. Okay, so let's just keep it a buck. So I think the greed factor was a part. I think it was the people around the people. I think it was the people around the people because they were trying to decipher how much was that fight worth. How much would AJ versus Deontay Wilder be worth? Versus how much would it be worth 3 or 4 years from now if they kept winning? The problem with Al Heyman and the guys that, his issue, he's always trying to build a fight up. He's trying to get, he's almost like the stock market. He wants to keep holding on to a certain stock when he knows he should just sell. And before he sells, it's the profit drops. Now he's just stuck with a whole bunch of crap. That's the problem. Wilder was never a big star bag in 2018. No, he wasn't. Who wins, AJ versus Deontay Wilder now? I have no idea. You're asking, like, for me, like, AJ's not the same. Wilder's not the same. So you're asking me, based on who we think they are now, who will win? I don't know. I have no idea. From a financial standpoint, Wilder came out the worst by far. AJ, Fury, and himself. Yeah, he got less than all of them, but I think it's all fair, as Skip. Think about it. Wilder gets less than all of the other guys. Why? Because he's done less. Does that make sense? Wilder got less profit than any of the other kings. AJ, Fury because he's done less. He's accomplished less. It's fair. So before we start talking about, in closing with this is a good time to close. I want you guys to think about it because episode 3 is coming tomorrow. Okay. Listen, if people are upset about Wilder missing out. Wilder got exactly what he deserved. Wilder, based on his accomplishments, who has he beaten? Since Luis Ortiz, since Dominique Breazeale. Nobody. Nobody worth mentioning. Think about it. Nobody was worth mentioning that he did anything with since 2019. See, we have 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now we have 25. 25. So in 5 years, Wilder has only beat who? Who has he beaten in 5 years? He's beat 2 people in 5 years. So yeah, I mean, based on what he turned down, based on what he's done in the sport, based on, he's made more money from the trilogy fight and the rematch. He's made more money from those fights. So Tyson Fury is his bread and butter because that's the only person he's fought. And he had a draw against Tyson Fury. He's never officially beat Tyson Fury. That's it. Let's be honest. Wilder will go down as the 12th best of his era. Okay? Because he cherry-picked too much, he was being held back by Shelly Finkel. Shelly Finkel did not believe in him to the capacity to throw him in there with those guys because I think he legitimately cared for Wilder. He cared for his fighter. I think Shelly Finkel and Wilder have a different type of relationship. I don't look at Shelly Finkel as a Don King that doesn't care about his fighters, don't care about that. He just cares about money. No, I don't think Shelly Finkel has that type of mindset when it comes to Deontay Wilder. What people don't understand, the people that liked Deontay Wilder were the people that cared for Deontay Wilder. And I think Wilder's smart enough to know, okay, I might have not got the best fights or the fights that I wanted to make, but I got the fights based on the people that cared for me. I think I think he actually liked Wilder. I think he actually loved him. I know Shelly Finkel loved Wilder. I don't think that Shelly Finkel disliked Wilder or had an agenda against Wilder. I think Shelly Finkel looked at Wilder like some kind of step-nephew, someone like a family member, someone that actually cared. Like, no, I'm not going to put him in there with Klitschko because Klitschko might hurt him. No, I'm not going to really push this Povetkin fight that we're going back and forth to court over because Povetkin might beat him. I don't want to put him in there with someone like AJ because I just seen what AJ did to someone like Vladimir. So we're going to hold off on that until we know that the time is right to put these guys in the ring together. He's Shelly doing. I'm not going to get this fight now. I'm not going to take that 12.5. I'm not going to take that 15 million. I'm not even going to take 100 million. Why? Because I know if they're offering 100, we can get 150. That's what happens. And Shelly, I think, looked after Wilder because he knew this guy has flaws. We have issues in the camp, even though they don't make him do shit, which I couldn't understand that, but that was kind of weird. But still, they were doing what they were doing. He protected Wilder like Mickey protected Rocky. Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think? Because Mickey cared about Rocky. He didn't want Rocky to get hurt. He didn't want Rocky to go in there and get bashed up because once you go in there and you get injured like that, you can't get uninjured. Your body does its best to heal at the time of the accident. And if the accident happens to be this fist to your face, that's what it is, people. I'm sorry. But you can't say Shelly Finkel didn't care about his fighters. He cared about Mike Tyson too. Oh yeah, we can go back before that. Shelly Finkel's we haven't seen Shelly Finkel being a crook. We've seen him being a guy that's very old, very old. He's in the 90s too. How old is Shelly Finkel? Like 91, 92 years old? Let's see. How old is Shelly Finkel?
Shelly Finkel is 80 years.
80? Jesus, I thought he was older than that. Huh. But anyway, he's 80 years old. He's 4 scores, right? Everybody liked Wilder. He was entertaining. And he was entertaining. And like I said, if this wasn't the golden era of boxing, it was damn sure a silver. Because it was better than the age that we seen Thank Tyson Fury. Thank AJ. Yeah, it's still that's still old. Yeah, 80 is still old. Thank AJ. Thank Wilder. Think all the people after that. Yeah, he does look a lot older. Wilder would have washed AJ. I think Wilder had the capacity to throw that right hand, but then again, I don't know. See, I think Wilder could knock out anybody. I think Wilder could have, if Wilder would have caught you with that right hand, you would have been in you because it was the way he knew the throw and the way he knew to hit, and it didn't matter if it hurt himself. Because if he broke his hand, breaking your face, okay, I still broke your face. I think that's Wilder's mentality. Wilder didn't care. Wilder said, man, I'm going to chop and I'm going to catch this boy. And I want to knock his orbital bone out. Thank the wild boar meat. But no, we came out of that era. And then here's the irony. People want Vladimir Klitschko back. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, do we miss Klitschko or we don't? All these fights we're talking about should have happened years ago. Time gone, times don't really want to see any of those tossers again. Kurt, truthfully, the White fight was avoided by Wilder. He didn't want to fight White. But here's the thing. Who says that Wilder might have heard that from Shelly. Shelly spoke for Wilder all the time. He was the brain. Well, I think that's what should happen. He probably told him, you don't want to fight White. You want to fight AJ. Yeah, I want to fight AJ. Okay. There's no point of Joshua versus Wilder. I mean, I still want to see it. Because, I mean, if we're going to talk about that, okay, why wouldn't you want to see AJ versus Wilder and we still want to see AJ versus Fury? They both got their ass whooped by the same person. So we can't do that. I want to see, let's see all these fights. Let's see all these fights. White ducked numerous final eliminators. I wanted to see White versus Ortiz. And poor Ortiz, he's so old now, he can't get a fight because people don't see if he beats them, they lose. If they win, they lose. It's a lose-lose. Skrilla 50, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Kurt Parker will outbox Triple D, 200 pounds. I mean, I'm for you, man. Look, it's like this. Delhi, Osho. Hey, if that happens, I'm with you. Drop 200 on the chat because I'm going live for that. I'm going live for that. J Me, respect Kurt, love the channel, the Truth Channel, peace from the UK. J Me, counterpunch to you. I think Ortiz would have still smashed White. I think Ortiz had the ability to come inside because I think at some point an exchange would have happened. Because see, I think Ortiz too. You know me. I'm Team Goa. So if I just see Luis just boom catching White and knocking him out. You know what I mean? But I think those fights make me cringe. I don't really necessarily care about the top versus the top. How about those middle fights? How about those second and third ranked fighters fighting each other? So I wanted to see that. And a lot of people, I remember Sporting Icons. He was all, he's British. So he wanted to see White. Oh, I think White has beat Ortiz and White has done a lot more than Ortiz and, and all this stuff. Up until Vlad fought AJ, I generally didn't like Vladimir's style, jab and grab, but his performance against AJ, I grew so much respect and generally think that Vladimir didn't need to come out of retirement. Well, I think he did enough. I'm with you too. We're really with you on that because he did show you that, hey, it was like almost to me, it was almost like he had Emmanuel Stewart chatting in his ear. Come on, get this motherfucker, man. All that up and down shit, man. Go on and hit him, And it's almost like he heard that voice in between rounds and he got him. And he dropped AJ, and I thought AJ was out. Because see, I didn't pick AJ to beat Vladimir. I didn't. I thought Vladimir was going to beat him. I said, man, no, bro. Vladimir, no. Because I just seen Vladimir in a flat performance against Tyson, and then we never seen Tyson again. The latest we seen Tyson, hey, Dawson, let's go to the bar. Yeah, get up. I'm like, dude, this dude's 400 pounds. He's like 400 pounds. You know, Hearn told Juice in Trash Can, don't worry, mate. I'll sign Ortiz and keep him in the closet. That was true, and he did. He did sign Ortiz. So that's something that I always notice, and I have to remind people. See, Eddie Hearn signed Luis Ortiz. He signed him. And he gave this man 2 fights. And you know who he did that to also from the Americas? Michael Hunter. Oh, yeah. But why? Michael Hunter, he had a draw with Povetkin, right? He had a draw against Povetkin. And then after that, Eddie tried to sell him some kind of slick whatever. He was like, well, yeah, we're going to offer you this fight and all this, and Mike was like, no, you're not, Everybody was trying to say the Klitschko style was too boring. If people think back, it was Fury saying that they were boring. I thought Vlad had him when he knocked him down. At the end of the day, Ortiz got the offer, and Ruiz was the one to accept. Well, Luis Ortiz was signed with Matchroom and still couldn't get an AJ fight. That's a fact. And then he did test positive. I think was in 17, and then again in 19. But see, the one in 19, no, 18. No. 17, he was supposed to fight Wilder. But I think he tested positive at some point. I can't remember when he tested. But it was 2 different times he had a discrepancy. The second one was because of blood pressure medicine. Marlon Thornell, counterpunch to you. Member in the building. Kurt, do you think Oscar Rivas will come back to boxing? I don't know. I think he should get with Teddy Atlas. I was thinking about him the other day, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? If he could get Teddy Atlas, not those clowns up in Canada. No, get him down in New York. Get him with Teddy Atlas. And he'll see the physique, he'll see the power, because Oscar has it all. He just doesn't have the right trainer. You imagine Oscar Rivas with a Peaky Boo style, and he would be dynamic. He would beat a lot of those dudes. I was so bummed when that fight with Efe Ajagba fell through. And that was last year. Supposed to happen last year. Yeah, he was avoided a lot. So Zhang signed with Matchroom. So was Zhang. Zhang, Hunter, Ortiz, all those guys, bro. Listen, Matchroom only catered to British fighters. None of those dudes were from Britain. None of those dudes were British. So yeah, you got a point there. What do you think about AJ's new fighting style, punch and grab? AJ, I mean, it didn't help him against Triple D. Triple D put them triple D's and triple B's on him. Okay, AJ and White still have the best resume till this day. Him and you got to add Parker to it too. Oscar has too much muscles. No, I just think he was muscularly solid, and I think that he should fight. I think he should get with Teddy Atlas, take his career. But how old is he now? He's like 40 years old now. Parker's like fine wine. Usyk has the best resume of this era than Joshua. I don't know about that. I think he beat Joshua. I don't think he has a better resume than Joshua. It's just AJ's name is on the resume of Usyk. Eddie said, don't worry, mate. I'll sign and keep them away in this broom room. Yeah, I mean, he fought David Allen and Malik Scott. So how was that, fighting those two dudes, being an undefeated fighter, going to help you progress with a promotional company? That's just like me signing with, like I'm signed with I'm signed with Acclaim Talent, okay, in Austin. That's like me signing with People Store and they promise, hey, we're gonna make you a star. We're gonna get you more auditions. We're gonna get you in front of Tyler Perry and Screen Gems and all these other casting directors. We're gonna do that for you, Kurt. So why don't you come over here? That's like me leaving Acclaim and then going to the People Store. Only the People Store has these guys that I'm going up against, and they're keeping me away from these auditions, and I never get an audition. That's the same thing. That's exactly what happened. Okay. Kurt, who wins? Oscar Rivas versus Martin McCauley. I have to go with Martin McCauley because, for one, you got a one-eyed Oscar Rivas that can't move his head. He's just tough and he's just going to take shots all night until he gets chopped down. Yeah. Ortiz should have learned English. He didn't help himself. And it's cool. Like, I've been actually practicing, help practicing with, a friend of mine, so we've been actually, speaking. He speaks no English. Trash can proceed to fight Povetkin. And then, well, what Povetkin? Does he speak English? Counterpunch. Wilder never really proved that he was top five. Beating Ortiz is not enough. No, it's not. I don't think Teddy Atlas is still training, is he? I don't think he is, but I think he does. I mean, the last person I think he had an exception for was Francis Ngannou, and before that was Timothy Bradley. And, Timothy Bradley did pretty good, until he got beat by Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was just a better athlete overall. Kurt, Luis Ortiz versus Joseph Parker would have been interesting. Yeah, back then, not now. He wouldn't beat him then. He wouldn't beat him now. The 6888 was a good movie. Shout out to Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry? That was Quentin Tarantino, bro. Was it? 668. I'm thinking of the Deadly Eight. But anyway, Kurt in their prime, who wins at 126, Loma or Nassim? Ooh, I don't know. I think Loma would have smoked him. Because see, the thing is about Prince Asim Ahmed. Prince Asim Ahmed was awkward, but I think he would have to knock out Lomachenko. AJ is too big in Nigeria now. He's meet our previous president and now currently president. Yeah, I mean he is big. I mean he's big. It was Tyler Perry. Okay, I never seen it, man. I thought you were talking about the Deadly Eight or something like that with Samuel Jackson. But yeah, Loma would have smoked him just like he did Rigondeaux. Kurt, I hate now Ruiz ruined his career by ducking White in 2020 for $4 million in January 2020, Ortiz in 2021, and he should have taken the 70-30 split low ball. Yeah, he ruined his career, but I think his career was started and done with in 2019. He's not done anything else after that, and then I think he doesn't need to. Ruiz is a one-hit wonder, and I think he's made peace with that. He will always and can always be the winner of any conversation, the overall discussion of a bar. If he walks into a bar in Chicago, Texas, California, New York, if Ruiz can go anywhere in the world probably and say that, hey, I knocked out AJ, I beat and dethroned the undefeated, unified heavyweight champion of the world at the time, and I'm the first Mexican heavyweight ever. So Andy Ruiz is good. There was no Snickers incentive for Ruiz contract to fight White. Ruiz wants to suck. Ruiz, he's good, man. I think Ruiz is good. I think Ruiz, if he'll be back, it'll be against low opposition. He'll probably fight later this year. And when he gets a fight, we'll see what happens to Ruiz. But guys, I appreciate you being here for episode 2 of the podcast of 2025 on Counterpunch Boxing News. I will be live tomorrow or Monday for episode 3. So stay tuned for that. Until then, guys, be blessed. Have a great weekend. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.